Hey Leo, this is Michael with your general reading for January 2022. I want to wish you all a happy new year. I hope that this one is off to a good start. I know the astrology has been a little bit rocky right out the gate. We've had some turbulence. Venus is currently retrograde and Mercury will be going retrograde towards the middle of this month. And we do have some things happening with the sun, actually, that's really, really important to keep in mind. You are ruled by the sun, so there really is this big focus for you on your health and wellness, as well as potentially your relationships towards the end of January. I do actually have all of your cards on the table here. Before we dive in too deep, though, I just want to let you all know I do have year-ahead horoscopes available on my website for all 12 signs. So if you're curious what 2022 has in store for you, that could be a great starting place. All of my links are down below. You can also find links for personal readings and Reiki sessions, which are currently 15% off, and that will be until January 8th. So if you missed out on my holiday sale, there's still some time to get a discount, and I think that this is just a great time of year to get a reading or get some guidance planning for the year ahead. I love this time of year really for that reason. I do also have I will be posting the January blog as well shortly. I'm just kind of wrapping that up. I have all of the notes from it in front of me, and I'll be referencing that throughout your reading as well. The card that I pulled for you first was actually the Three of Swords, and this was showing up in the past. And it's really interesting to me with this card kind of showing up. It's almost like there was this painful situation that you've been getting out of, and it feels like you're almost leaving this heartache behind from 2021 as you are entering into 2022. What you learned from this, though, was really teaching you about not rushing into things with this Knight of Swords. Could be involving a Gemini energy. I actually did specifically pull the Magician, kind of clarifying the Three of Swords. This could be Gemini or Virgo energy, possibly. But really, this was almost like... Sometimes when I see the Magician, it's almost like a con man or someone who is deceptive or very good with their words. The Magician actually represents Mercury, which is communication and the mind. And this could have been someone who's really good at presenting themselves in a specific way, or just really had you smitten with them. Or just made you trust them. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic situation even. This could be a professional situation, it could be with a friend, really any number of things. There's just been this emphasis on not rushing into things. And, I almost get the sense that you were trying to create something here with this Magician, and it didn't go the way that you wanted, and that might actually be the heartache. Something you've been trying to create didn't go your way. And with the cards in the present this month, we do actually have the Hermit and the Three of Coins. And it's almost like this energy of getting back to work, which is kind of interesting. We do have Venus that is retrograde. Mercury is going retrograde. I already talked about that. There really is like this need to adjust and be adaptable in January, and things might not necessarily be going at the speed that you would like them to be. And if anything, Mercury retrogrades are almost like these comical moments where the universe is like, oh, that's cute, you think you have control over your life, because our plans might go awry, or things will need to be adjusted or refined. I feel like there's kind of this thing where it's like, yeah, you do need to take some time out for yourself as this hermit, and maybe that is like reflecting on the lessons from the past, not rushing into things, but there is still this thing that you are going to be working with other people on. Or it could just be that you are working by yourself very hard. I do potentially get the sense you might even be seeking out counsel from maybe a Virgo or just a wise person in general in your life, or a neutral party in your life as this hermit, seeking somebody else who helps you find guidance or wisdom within you. That is a potential way to interpret this. There really is a focus on relationships, though, for you this month, especially as we are entering into Aquarius season. We do have a Cazimi as well with Venus and the Sun. That is going to be happening on the 8th. And I think for you specifically, that is actually about self-love and maybe healing yourself. And I say that because Capricorn is your sixth house, your house of routines, your house of health and wellness. And that is naturally the Virgo house. So maybe the thing you're working on this month is actually setting up routines that work for you and kind of starting off this year on the right foot. Maybe you overexerted yourself last year, or you're coming out of a period of recovery from overexerting yourself. And I actually do see that with the Nine of Wands here as sort of the challenge. You might still be feeling pretty drained or pretty exhausted in January. And that might be something where it's like you kind of need to persevere and take breaks when you can. It's like you still need to get stuff done. And that's what I mean. It's like there was this energy of you were trying to create something, maybe trying to heal something, and it didn't go the way you wanted, and now you have to get catapulted back into work. It's like back to the grind is essentially what Capricorn season is for you. And that can feel pretty draining. So it's important that you are being mindful of your energy. You may need to take some time away from friends, or potentially even like kind of a group project situation. I know that's really, really specific, but that's kind of what I think of with this Three of Pentacles, something you're working on with a group of people. And I think you still need to really take time for yourself. I do actually have a devil energy here in the future. And when I clarified this, I did get the Lovers and the Ten of Cups. And one of the first things that came to my mind, especially thinking about Aquarius season towards the end of this month, there really are these toxic dynamics that you're going to be addressing in your relationships that stem from your early conditioning. Maybe patterns that you are reincarnating in your relationships that you had with one or both of your caregivers or parents. There could be something about just traditions or old ways of thinking that are still affecting your relationships negatively. And there are some things that you need to address there. That's something that I am seeing right away. I do also potentially think of work, however, and like kind of being married to your job potentially for some of you. Like you really need to have good boundaries here. And that's actually really just the thing I would tell you in January overall. I feel like this month is about you having healthy boundaries and not taking too much on, not overexerting and just kind of persevering in ways that you need to. I do feel like there is actually some success here. The devil energy actually does represent Saturn. And that's interesting because we do have Saturn in your 7th house in Aquarius. And we are going to be having a lot of activation as we are entering into Aquarius season. There are going to be a lot of lessons that may be showing up in relationships to you. And that could be a kind of working against your early life conditioning or working against traditions or values that you took on early in life. You're going to kind of be looking at all of that under a microscope, I think, especially in February. But I do see this potential thing where it's like, yeah, you really need to sort out your expectations for relationships and potentially even long-term success. I know this is kind of a big ballpark for you this month. And I think the thing that we really need to just focus on here is boundaries. Because when I see the devil, it can kind of indicate codependence or lacking healthy boundaries, not knowing what your boundaries are. And I think that's also what the Hermit card is kind of telling you to do. Really get a sense of your own boundaries, what you can and can't do, what your needs are. I think it's really important to be able to spell that out here. Let me pull some animal cards for you as well, Leo. I actually forgot to do that at the start of this reading. Okay, so we actually have a few things that just flew right out. We have the black egg, which is the throat chakra, tarantula, and we have gazelle. So we have two fire animals here with tarantula and gazelle, and we have a spirit card here with this black egg, which is the throat chakra. I actually think that writing is going to be really, really important for a lot of you this month. And that's kind of like the Virgo energy I think I'm getting with the Hermit. And maybe that's just like chronicling your day and like paying attention to what you're eating or paying attention to when you're going to sleep. I actually feel with gazelle, you need to really take care of yourself with gazelle because it's like this very sensitive energy, perhaps even hypervigilant at times. And maybe that is something that's coming up in relationships too, because maybe there was a tendency to jump into things in the past or jump into projects in the past, and now you really need to take care of yourself and your sensitive nervous system. Gazelle does look out for threats. It is a prey animal, and it is very aware, hyper aware of its surroundings. And that might also be something that you need to take care of as well, taking care of your immediate environment. It is kind of that Capricorn energy for you specifically. Leo, it is taking care of your space, making sure that things are functioning smoothly, especially with Mercury going retrograde in Aquarius and entering into Capricorn on the 25th. There really will be this focus on making your daily life more efficient, making it more conducive to your health and wellness. And that could even be talking about the things that you're eating again, really just being very, very disciplined this month. And that's actually going to help any nerves or any tension or any hurt that you could be experiencing. Tarantula is also kind of like waiting for the right time to do things. Tarantula is an ambush predator, and it does also make me think of molting a skin. I know with Tarantula, it's kind of like choosing between the old self and the new self, so not falling into old patterns. That could be pretty easy with the astrology this month. We have Venus and Mercury retrograde. Jupiter just joined Neptune in Pisces, and those can kind of talk about excess as well. Pisces specifically is actually your 8th house, and that is kind of the house of sexuality. It's the house of death. It's the house of magic, and kind of the things that we keep in the dark. It's really a crazy part of astrology, the 8th house. It's kind of a crazy part of the chart. It's hard to really describe in a concise way, honestly. But there is something about you really connecting to your spirituality and like having a meditation practice or having a magical practice, having some sort of mindfulness practice or prayer, something like that, some sort of routine each day I think would be really, really important for you in January. And with the black egg, again, this is the throat chakra card, and that's why I also think writing could be really good. However it is that you can however you can express yourself. Please pardon if my words are coming out choppy. I do think that the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow is affecting my ability to communicate. It dominates my chart, so I'm really sensitive to Mercury energy. But yeah, I think this is talking about speaking your truth and knowing your boundaries. I'm thinking of boundaries again, just thinking of this shell around the egg and having a sense of what your truth is. The throat chakra isn't always about speaking. Sometimes it is about listening, and sometimes it's also about knowing what your truth is, where your truth begins and another truth ends. So really figuring out what your boundaries are. Again, super, super, super important. Is there anything else we have here? I kind of just want to shuffle and see if anything else will pop out for you, Leo. Interesting. So we have the Artist and the Four of Pentacles. This really does make me think again of like journaling or potentially even doing something creative to help you process or organize your thoughts. And with the Four of Pentacles, it is kind of guarding your energy, not necessarily giving your energy away very quickly. And maybe things do feel like financially a little tight. Maybe there are some financial concerns with the Devil, but honestly, I feel like that's mostly in your head, actually. I think you will do okay. That's at least the sense I'm getting with the Ten of Pentacles. But there's just this sense of insecurity or holding on to what you have. But I think you'll be okay this month. I know that's just going to kind of be a concern for a lot of people this year, finances in general. And again, you can read about that in the 2022 blog. But honestly, Leo, I feel like you're really releasing things that once held you back, or you're releasing yourself, I should say. And I think you're learning the difference between love and attachment this month, and potentially even into Aquarius season, into February as well. And I think there is something about creating And you know, when I think of the Four of Pentacles, I actually do think of walls sometimes. And again, that does feel like having boundaries. And maybe there is something about you getting back to work after taking some time off with the Hermit card. And you need to go in with a different strategy. You can't just go back into whatever it was you were doing with the same I'm just going to charge in kind of energy. You do need to be, you do need to persevere. It's true. Um, but you need to figure out how you can do that in a way that's sustainable. It's like the conflict between sustainability and perseverance, and also attachment and love. Like, there's a lot of things you're going to be separating and peeling apart from each other. And I think that's everything. I do hope that this was helpful for you, Leo. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section down below how this applies to you. I'd be very curious to hear. Of course, you're welcome to check out the other videos as well for your sun, moon, or rising sign. Maybe there is a message there for you as well. I do have all of my links in the description box down below, and if you do feel called to make a donation, I've actually been redirecting everyone to my friend Angela this month. She is working on an Enneagram reflection deck. The Enneagram is actually a really great tool to figure out your basic drives and fears, the ways you may sabotage yourself, as well as the ways you grow and can really self-actualize. And I actually used to be super, super into Enneagram and Myers-Briggs and all of those sorts of things. And it's a really good tool for self-discovery and psycho-spiritual growth. So if you are interested in that, definitely check out that link and feel free to support Angela if you feel so called. I'm sure she would really, really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, Leo.